Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to spend some time working on Cisco Packet Tracer. What I'm going to do first of all, we are going to set up a IPv6 address on each interface on the router. So here we have a true router, as you can see here. I already configured this router one, number 3, number 2, number 1, and number 0 is not configured yet. So there is no particular address on any interface here. So what I need to do, I'm going to work on it to set up, first of all, by setting up the IPv6 address on each interface. Then after that, we are going to check the connectivity, and because we're going to set up the OSPF, which stands for Open Short Path First, to become neighbor with other router to be able to communicate. And then finally, I'm going to spend some time working on how to configure a workstation with the IPv6 addresses and to be able to communicate with the default gateway as well. Let's begin. So here, let's click on here. This workstation, this is the router we're going to work on it, the router number 0. To begin, I need just to click on it, open our terminal. So here we are on the terminal. So let's go back a little bit in the beginning. So to enter on the terminal mode, we need to press on enable en, press enter, and then we need to go to the configure the now we are in the privileged exec mode. We need to go to the terminal configure terminal mode. So we need to tap config in shorter and T and press enter. Now we are on inside the terminal mode. So we need to go to the interface. First of all, we need to set up the interface. Let's begin with the giga 0/0. I need just to tap int, in short, mean interface, and J 0/0, press enter. From here, we can set up our IP address by typing IPv6 address. Let's choose this address, 2001 colon db8 colon 1 colon 1, and I'll choose the here the prefix /64 subnet, press enter. So now we're done with the giga. Let's set up now the serial interface by typing int as shortest interface and s as a serial 0/3/0, and then we're gonna start over again the same process we did as the other interface. IPv6 addresses. This time choose the address 2001 colon db8 colon 11 colon 1, and we keep the /64. And now the last interfaces is the serial 0/3/1. Let's go by entering the shorter interface. Int stands for interface, s as a serial 0/3/1, and we start the same thing again. IPv6 addresses 2001 colon db8 colon, here let's choose db8 colon 10 colon 1, and by keeping the /64 and press enter. So now we done configuring our IPv6 address on each interface of our router. We have a total of 3 interfaces now in this demo. So now to check, to make sure that our interface are well configured and is up, we're going to step beyond one step by the privilege exec mode. And from here, I will type show, the command show IPv6 and interface brief and press enter. So here you can see here we have the Giga description here, the Giga 000, the interface there. And then we can see the status is in up state. And if we go down, you can see our address is right here. The address is well configured for the Giga 00. And now if we move down to look for the serial 0/3/1/0, and we can see here also it's up. And if we go down, we can see the IP address we just put right there. It's well done. And the last one is the serial 0/3/1, which is also in the up state and the status. And if we look down, you can see the status and the address is well configured. So now we are okay. We know we are make sure that everything is fine. So we're done for the configuring the IPv6 address on each interface. Now let's move on to the next step. Now we need to set up or remember to configure the open shortest path first. Remember our other router we said earlier has already been configured with OSPF, but actually they are not neighboring with this any of this one because this one has no OSPF. To be able to be neighbor with other and to communicate with them, we need to set up this router as well as OSPF configuration. So to do that, let's go inside and go back to the configuration terminal mode. And from here, the command to type for to activate the OSPF is IPv6 router OSPF. Let's choose number 10. Make sure you can choose any number, but make sure that those numbers has to match with the rest of the network. And if I choose number 10, and I should get one message. This is no mean it's no error. This means that we need to do that. Prior to do that, we need to set up the router ID. This is what we're going to do now. So to do that, you need just to tap router and dash ID. And let's choose for this one the ID number 1111 3 times and press enter. So now we are set up, we are okay, we're done with the router ID. So now the next step, we're going to go back beyond what we started before by typing IP. So you need to type IPv6 router OSPF 10. Now we are inside the OSPF 10. So now we're going to go to each interface by setting up the IPv6. So to do that, we need just to type in the shorter. Remember, int which stands for interface. Let's start with the J00, J0/0. And from here, I will type the statement IPv6 OSPF number 10 area 0. Remember, you can put this number area, make sure this area number 0 has to match with all the rest of the router in the topology. Otherwise, you won't be able to communicate. So we finish with the interface J00. Let's move on to the next interface, the serial 0/3/0. Let's tap int to move for interface and serial S0/3/0. Press enter. And we're gonna do the same process we did for the G00 interface. So by typing IPv6 OSPF, then area 0. Remember here, when as soon as we tap enter, we're supposed to get a neighboring advertising to let us know that we are already neighboring with one of the router. So by pressing enter, we should get one message pop up. As you can see, this is not an error. This shows that we are in the full loading done adjacency. So that means we are neighboring with one router. This is the router, the ID router, the router ID of the neighboring router, which is close to the serial 0/3/0. So now we know we already neighbor with one router. So now we step beyond interface serial 0/3/1, which is our last interface. And then we're gonna do the same, repeat the same process we did in the serial 0/3/0 by typing IPv6 OSPF number 10 area 0, and we should get another pop-up which shows that we are now neighboring as agency. There we go. So we are in the full loading down state. So we are now agency. All the router are about to communicate. So it should be able to have the routing table of all the rest of the router on the topology. To do that, let's verify that. Make sure to go step beyond in the privilege mode and tap show IPv6 route. As you can see, we get now some in our routing table. We can see we are neighboring. The O stand for OSPF. If you look at here O stand for OSPF, Open Sorted Buffer. So this O shows that the place we are neighboring with other network. So those O show everything that are connected via OSPF. So at this point, we should be able to ping other router. So let's try it. So let's ping this address on this network here, this one. So I'll go here, let's make some space, ping, and the address IPv6. Make sure to make all the time to put IPv6, otherwise it's going to, when you put pings, you're going just to make back to the default IPv4. So make sure when you type ping IPv6, following with the address 1:BB8 number 12 ::2 and press enter. As you can see, we are successfully ping this. So you can see we get 5x5 100%. So everything looks fine. So that means we were able to ping. So for the other network also we'll be able to ping it as well for this network as well. So now for the final step, let's move on to the final step, which is how to set up a workstation with IPv6 addresses as well as the subnet mask and the default gateway. So I'm going to do that quickly. Let's go back here. This is the workstation, which is here. So if we go back in the desktop, we close this, we close that. So we close this, we close this. So now we are in the network and the workstation. So if I click IP here to start, make sure when you click on it, you click first, choose desktop. We were before in the physical. You choose desktop, and then this part on the left, on the top left, choose IP configuration. Click on it, and then you can see we have a 2 column, like 3 parts, 2 column. DHCP for IPv4, we have the IPv4 section, and we have the IPv6 we're going to focus here on the IPv6. This is the part we're going to work on because we are working on the IPv6 configuration. So make sure we are in the static mode here. So if, as you can see, we make sure that we are in the static mode to make sure that everything is okay. So to make sure, first, let's go back again to the router to make sure just that our router, the address is okay. So if I go back in the router configuration, and then I'm going to choose to make sure that we are in the same address. So it's okay. So now I click here. I go back to the configuration. Here I'm going to set up my static address, IPv6. Make sure that when you set up your IPv6 address, make sure it should be under the same subnet with the default gateway. Default gateway is right here. So make sure that any address you put need to be on the same subnet with the default gateway. So to do that, let's go here, type the address, any addresses, 2001. I choose colon db8 colon 1 colon 1, and then here I choose the colon 2. It should not match with the subnet address. Here for the prefix, so the subnet will be on 64. Okay, this is done. And for the default gateway, remember, we can just take this address here, put it here, but I don't want to be doing the lazy way. I'll just write it down. So 2001 colon db8 colon 1 colon 1. So make sure that this address matching with this one, 2001 colon db8 colon 1 colon 1. Okay, so now we are good for this. What I'm going to do, I will just close this window, go to the command line, command prompt, otherwise, and now from here, let's make some spaces. Let's tap CLS, clear the string. Okay, so now let's tap the command that we need to tap. So if I go back here, terminal mode, CLS, and now we're going to ping. Let's start by pinging the default gateway first, which is here in this network. Ping number 2001 colon db8 colon 1 colon 1. As you can see, we get a response. So if I do that again, you can see we get the response. So now we've successfully pinged the default gateway. So now let's go outside the default gateway. This is what they call the last resort, the IP address of the last resort. Let's now go out of the default gateway. Let's try to ping this network here, which is here. So let's move this screen a little bit here to have a space to see, and then we can see clearly what we are doing. And let's make some spaces. And now I tap ping 2001 colon db8 colon 3 colon 1, and let's tap enter. As you can see, we get the response. So we successfully ping all the way in this network. That's it for this demonstration.